Shabbat Shalom. The Talmud teaches us a legend taught by Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda. He says, or he taught, or so it is told, that two ministering angels accompany each of us home on Shabbat evening, on Friday night, when we go home from the synagogue. He teaches that there is one good angel and one bad angel who are following us home. I like to imagine the bad, evil angel as Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, and the good angel as Lisa Simpson. Okay, so they're both with us. And when this person reaches their home after services on Friday night, and if they should see that their candles are lit and their challah is out and the wine is ready for making kiddush and all of their Shabbat food is prepped and ready and the house is beautiful and lovely and there are flowers, everything is like picture perfect. If this is what the person and the two angels see, then the good angel, the Lisa Simpson, says, may it be in God's will that every single Shabbat, may be in God's will that next Shabbat be exactly as this one. And the evil angel, the Mr. Burns, needs to answer, Amen. But if the person comes home on Friday night and their house is in chaos and they forgot to buy challah and they forgot to buy wine and they did not light the Shabbat candles and it's as if they did not prepare for Shabbat in any way, then the evil angel, the Mr. Burns angel, gets to say, may it be in God's will that this poor person, that next Shabbat should be exactly as chaotic as this one. And what does the good angel need to answer? Yeah, that's right. The good angel needs to say, Amen, to this proclamation. I have no memory of when exactly I learned the word Amen. It is like it has always been with me. Amen was that expectant look from my father after he chanted the Shabbat Kiddush. Amen was that pregnant pause from my teacher, Maura Glover. I gave her a lot of pain. She taught us tefillah, prayer, in 5th grade, and she would raise her eyebrows at the moment when we should say Amen. Amen was to be said loudly and surely and carefully. It was the proper punctuation at the end of every blessing. Amen was part of the mourner's Kaddish. Amen was part of the morning blessings. Amen was the answer to every bracha, to every wish, to every hope that the adults around me had. It was like Amen was in the air. It was everywhere, and it was both a period and an exclamation mark. And when I was a teenager, Amen became like a sigh or an eye roll or a do I have to be here? And now at this point in my life, as an assistant rabbi, Amen, Amen, it feels like the closing to everything. And more likely than not, I find myself prompting, let us all say Amen. And to that we say Amen. The idea of answering Amen, do you know where it shows up first? Because it shocked me. It shocked me. Where do we see Amen first in the Torah? I thought, surely it's in the 10 Commandments. Surely it's when our people encounter God and we say, we're going to sign up on this journey with you. But it's not. The very first time a human utters the word Amen is in our Torah portion today. We're already in the 4th book of the Torah. And there has not been a single amen up until today. And it's not even like a warm, cozy, nice story. It's not exactly a blessing. Where do we see amen in our parsha? Where did we see it in our Torah reading? We saw it in the case of the Sota, the woman who is being brought to trial. It's a difficult Torah reading. But we could say that this first amen spoken by the woman is spoken in hopes of healing a marriage that has been filled with distrust and jealousy. And even though I often say that the Torah is not historical, the Torah is ahistorical, the Torah is a spiritual myth, even if I believe those things, it doesn't change the fact that today we read a story, an ordeal of a woman on trial because her husband is jealous of her. And even though this probably didn't happen, or it hasn't happened for thousands of years, the seed of the story is one that we do know in our world. We know what it's like when relationships are poisoned with jealousy and doubt and distrust. So in the Torah today, that very first amen, we saw it when the priest reads out to this woman on trial both the blessings that might occur to her if she passes the trial, and the curses and the death that will occur if she fails it. And to each of those, she answers amen. She says, V'amra ha'isha, amen, amen. And the woman says, amen, amen. 2 amens. We hadn't seen any of them before, and now we have 2. So since amen had never been used before in the Torah, all of the biblical commentators, they rush in to try and figure out, what does this new word mean? What does it mean? What does amen mean? The Targum, one of the first interpretations from around the year 300, teaches that amen means, I agree with these conditions. Rashi, which Madison quoted, who died in the 1100s, taught that saying amen means that you're accepting upon yourself an oath or a promise that's being said by another person. Ibn Ezra, another rabbi, also 1100s, he taught that amen is like an exclamation point. It's like an emphasis at the end of something. And the Talmud has its own interpretations for this word. It gives us 3 possibilities. That amen means I'm taking on myself an oath, that I accept a statement or a collection of terms, or that I confirm through my faithfulness or emphasis in whatever it is that's being said. In short, whenever we say amen, whenever we answer amen, we are co-signing onto whatever it is that is being said. On Friday afternoon, when I was writing this devar, this sermon, my thoughts kept on going back to that anonymous woman in the Parsha, the anonymous woman in our Torah who answers, amen, amen. That woman was brought to trial by a jealous partner. And in some ancient desert world, in some kind of biblical Judaism, maybe some shadow of this did actually happen. And that there were these 2 men, the priest and the jealous husband, who are decreeing life or death for this woman. And she answers amen, amen to both of their decrees, emphasizing their power over her. So even if I do not view her as historical, Her story is real enough because we just read it. It was right here in our Torah. I can't pretend like it wasn't in the Torah. I can't pretend like we didn't read it. And it makes me think of my own amen. The way that I co-sign onto our tefillot, onto our prayers, onto our blessings, onto my ideas of joyous Judaism, into my ideas of hope and faith in God. And on some subconscious way, I realize that every amen that I say is just an echo of this very first woman in the Torah. Every amen that I say is tied back to her in her first emphasis. She's attached to me, to each of us. And I realized in writing this and in looking deeply into the Torah this week, I realized that I wanted to be connected to her, that I didn't want to pretend like she didn't exist. I wanted to raise my face to her in every amen of my life. And I think that this fits well with how Rabbi Sharon Brous of Ikara in LA teaches a new possibility or another possibility for how we interpret this word amen, this answer that we as a congregation, that we as a community bring to our prayers. Rabbi Brous teaches that when we say the word amen, we are affirming the fullness of another person's experience by demonstrating in body and word, I see you. You are not alone. For Rabbi Brous, amen means I see you. You are not alone. By her understanding, in our reading of this parsha, in our reading of Naso and of this woman who is on trial, we are all affirming the entire complexities of the Torah. We are affirming the way that women and relationships and spiritual power has changed. It has changed over thousands of years. Thank God, but we affirm that it is complicated and that the full scope of Torah, we can see it. We can recognize it. It's not always easy. In our saying amen, we are linking ourselves back to that woman. The woman on trial, the woman answering amen, amen. We see her. She is not alone. She is with us in each of our brachot, in each of our answers. I started this sermon with one of my favorite funny legends from the Talmud, where we have the evil angel who's with us and the good angel that's with us, and they're each competing on who can say amen when we come home on Shabbat. If we took that legend too seriously, then every single Shabbat would be identical to the last. The very first Shabbat that you kept, one of the angels would say, it should be this way next week, and the other one answers amen. Every single Shabbat in your life would have been the same, either chaos or absolute perfection. But what if we choose to reinterpret this myth? What if instead both the evil angel and the good angel, what if both of them are just with us on Shabbat? They're following us home. And they enter into our homes and they witness us in our space, and they see our beauty, they see our mess, they see our complexity and our personality, the most ordered, the most beautiful, the most trashed and difficult. What if these two angels are God being with us all the time and witnessing our baggage, our fears, and our hopes? And every Shabbat, they are with us, they see us, and they answer amen to us being. They say, I see you as God sees us, and we are not alone. Shabbat shalom.